What happens when the quietest MVP suddenly looks like he's ready to snap?
Is what started this, and then the pushing ensues.
A calm superstar meets chaos.
Jalen Williams comes in, and Jokić and Jalen Williams do battle.
When Jokic's silence breaks, it's not just a foul. It's a rare glimpse into something deeper. And here's where it gets even more intense. Late in the fourth quarter of a heated Denver Nuggets versus Oklahoma City Thunder matchup, temperatures literally boiled over on national TV.
Break things up. Jokić and Jalen Williams face to face right now.
As the teams battled in a close game, Lou Dort stuck his hip out and appeared to trip Nikola Jokić while he was retreating up the floor. A play that everyone watching instantly felt was dirty and dangerous. Dort's trip wasn't just a bump. It sent Jokić to the floor and ignited a reaction we almost never see from the three-time MVP. Jokić stood up, eyes locked in, and went straight toward Dort, not shouting, not threatening theatrically, but quietly furious in a way that made the whole arena hold its breath. Nuggets teammates immediately tried to pull him back as Thunder players swarmed. And Thunder reserve Jalen Williams even tangled with Jokić himself in the aftermath. The officials ultimately assessed a flagrant 2 foul on Dort and tossed him from the game.
We are upgrading that to a flagrant foul penalty 2. Lou Dort is ejected from the game.
While Jokić and Williams were hit with offsetting technical fouls. And despite the noise, one part of that moment, Jokic's icy stare, exploded across social media, becoming a meme and making fans wonder if something deeper just surfaced within the normally unflappable Joker. And this is what makes the whole scene so fascinating. If you've watched Nikola Jokic's career, the MVP awards, the championship runs, and the triple-doubles, you know one thing right away. He barely looks like a typical NBA superstar. Jokić plays basketball with a relaxed, almost detached style. He doesn't yell, he rarely pumps his fist, and even in the biggest playoff moments, he looks like he's playing a friendly pickup game. He's famous for saying things like, pressure doesn't touch him, and that he treats every game as if he were back in Serbia playing with friends. Unlike many elite players who wear their emotions on their sleeve, shouting, chest bumping, reacting to every whistle, Jokic's demeanor is measured, calm, and almost nonchalant. That's part of why fans call him unique, graceful, and strangely hypnotic on the court. So when a trip from Dort managed to pierce that calm, when Jokić stepped forward, locked eyes, and teetered on the edge of losing control, it didn't just look unusual. It looked almost shocking. And here's where his origin story gets downright real. Long before MVP chants and the triple-doubles, Nikola Jokić was just a kid in Sombor, a tiny town in northern Serbia surrounded by wheat fields and dust roads. He was the youngest of 3 boys with 2 older brothers, Nemanja and Strahinja, who were nearly a decade ahead of him in age, size, and swagger. Sombor wasn't a fancy place. Their family lived in a cramped 2-bedroom apartment with Nikola, his parents, his 2 brothers, and his grandmother all under one roof. That's 6 people trying to find space in a home barely big enough for 4. Basketball in the Jokić household wasn't a TV sport. It was part of everyday life. Nikola's first hoop wasn't in a gym. It was a toy hoop hanging on a door, and his older brothers were his first teammates and his toughest competitors. They pushed him, teased him, dragged him into pickup games before school, and turned every inch of that apartment into a learning ground, not just for skill, but for grit. Those battles in tight quarters and those endless backyard games deepen Jokić in unshakable patience, a chess-like vision on a court, and a quiet kind of competitiveness that didn't roar, it calculated. In a way, the game of basketball became more than a sport. It was survival, evolution, and identity all wrapped into one. And now meet the men who shaped him. Not coaches, not trainers, family. Strahinja, the oldest brother. Strahinja Jokić isn't just older than Nikola. He's a personality. Towering, intense, and physically imposing, he carries the kind of energy that fills a room before he even speaks. Long before Joker was duking it out in the paint, Strahinja had his own life in basketball, playing professionally across teams in Serbia. But Strahinja's presence wasn't only defined by hoops, it was defined by heat. In April 2024, after a Nuggets playoff win against the Lakers, a video exploded online showing him punching a fan in the stands. The scene was raw. Crowded arena, celebratory mood, and then boom, Strahinja stepping over seats and landing a blow straight to a spectator's face. The moment went instantly viral, and the clip wasn't just highlight reel material, it became a story. Legal repercussions followed. Strahinja eventually pleaded guilty to trespassing and disorderly conduct, and a Denver judge handed down 1 year of probation. The fan suffered a concussion and bruising, and police records showed this was far from an isolated incident. Strahinja had previous run-ins with the law, including a 2019 arrest on assault-related charges in Denver. Despite the controversies, he's always in Joker's corner, literally. Cameras and fans spot him courtside at almost every Nuggets game. His presence, a mix of protection, unpredictability, and sheer physical intimidation. Nemanja, the middle brother. Then there's Nemanja, the quiet force. 11 years older than Nikola. He's less flashy than Strahinja, but no less imposing. Nemanja also played basketball at a high level, even spending time in the U.S. college system at the University of Detroit Mercy and later playing professionally. Nemanja doesn't punch fans or spark headlines like his big brother, but he's always there. A calm but massive presence in the crowd. He's the steady anchor beside Strahinja's fire, watching, supporting, and sometimes stepping in when things get heated. Together, the Jokić brothers don't just root for Nikola. They dominate the narrative every time they show up, adding layers of pressure, chaos, and unpredictability to one of the NBA's most fascinating families. And here's the part that literally blew up the internet. Shortly after the Nuggets' incredible comeback win against the Lakers in Game 2 of the 2024 NBA playoffs, a 14-second clip started circulating everywhere and Reddit, showing Nikola's older brother, Strahinja Jokić, climbing down the stands at Ball Arena and punching a fan in the face. The video didn't just stay in the NBA bubble, it exploded, picked up by major sports accounts, and instantly shared millions of times. What made it so compelling wasn't just the strike, it was how it framed the Jokić family's intensity. In the clip, as Strahinja moves through the row to confront the spectator, his older brother, Nemanja, is right behind him. Words flying, showing support and backing his sibling. A dramatic visual of brothers in each other's corners. Meanwhile, Nikola's wife is seen trying to pull Strahinja back, adding even more emotion to the scene. This raw footage became shorthand for the Jokić brothers' reputation. Loud, protective, and willing to physically intervene if they feel crossed. And it spread so fast because it painted such a stark contrast. The same family that today celebrates an NBA legend can also verbally and physically defend him against anyone they think crossed a line. But here's the twist worth sticking with. That fiery, protective energy in the stands is the complete opposite of what you see when Nikola Jokić steps on the court. Calm, composed, and almost emotionless, even in the biggest moments. That contrast, the explosive protectiveness of his brothers versus Jokic's serene dominance on the floor, is exactly why viewers couldn't stop watching this clip. And here's where it gets deeper than just one viral moment. Nikola Jokić hadn't just gotten lucky with family support. He's lived it his whole life. From the moment he left Serbia for the NBA, both Nemanja and Strahinja were at his side, flying to Denver, living with him, and showing up at games throughout regular season and playoff runs. They didn't just attend games. They were part of his journey, part of his security blanket in a foreign country. Those courtside seats aren't just seats. They represent years of unwavering loyalty. Nemanja and Strahinja didn't disappear once Nikola became an MVP superstar. They doubled down, making themselves a constant presence at every Nuggets game, cheering loudly in Serbian, reacting to every referee call and every Nuggets possession. And that presence, the loud, unpredictable energy, couldn't be more different from Nikola on the court. Jokić doesn't scream at referees. He doesn't puff out his chest after a big play. He stays collected, almost casual in his reactions. A laid-back genius in the paint. It's this juxtaposition that has fans joking that Nikola is the little brother in more ways than one. Calm, soft-spoken, and analytical, while Nemanja and Strahinja bring the heat, noise, and raw intensity sideline after sideline. It's funny to fans because even though Nikola is the NBA MVP, sometimes he literally looks like the smallest guy in his family photo, dwarfed by his massive older brothers. That image, Jokić, the serene superstar, flanked by two towering, expressive siblings, it's become part of what makes his story so compelling. And here's the part that gets to the heart of why Jokić plays the way he does. Nikola Jokić didn't grow up in fancy AAU programs or elite camps. He grew up in Sombor with two older brothers and that same small family mentality that shaped everything about him, including his mindset on the court. From the very beginning, basketball for him wasn't about flash. It was about understanding the game. You can literally trace his modern play style, the world's best passing big man, back to those early days in Serbia when he watched the world around him, learned how to see plays before they happened, and developed a vision that almost feels psychic. Even Jokić himself has said that nothing really gets to him. Pressure, hype, and expectations, they all just bounce off him. He's spoken about how calm he is compared to his family, how nothing touches him, and how that serene mindset started long before he ever stepped foot on an NBA court. But there's something more subtle at play, too. Growing up with two aggressive, fiery brothers didn't make him explode. It made him think. Instead of reacting, he learned to anticipate. Their intensity fueled something inside him, but it didn't consume him. Instead, it taught him discipline, patience, and how to stay cool under fire. Off the court, that same humility follows him. Despite being a multi-time MVP and NBA champion, he stays grounded, loving the simple things, family, horses, and a quiet life in Sombor, far from celebrity chaos. Nikola Jokić plays with the mind of a general and the heart of a kid raised in humble surroundings, shaped by brothers whose fire sparked his calm genius. What's your take on Jokic's quiet power? Drop a comment, and if you have video ideas, let us know. And if we like your idea, we might shout you out or even send you some merch. Also, stomp on that subscribe button to see the best NBA videos that have ever been delivered to your phone.